Welcome, everyone. It's 2016 already. Hard to believe. We've been doing these webinars since 2011, so we're rounding up on 5 years with WebEx. And our twice a month or sometimes once a week get-togethers, it's really evolved. I'm really glad to see all of you. Really glad to be able to share some sessions with you. I'm hoping that Lynn Buchanan joins us. I'm not holding out much hope for that tonight. He's always here, but he's had some really family issues, and anybody who hangs out with us on a regular basis knows that, Linda's not been feeling well for some time, and now Lynn's mom is, I think, 97 and really showing signs of her age, and he takes care of her for the most part now. And so if he pops in, that'll be great. I'm not looking for that to happen, however. So tonight's exercise is a bit different, and it stemmed from an oops, as usual. When I set up WebEx, I have to deal with the date that we are getting together, anything extraneous, like if it's an IRVA month or something like that going on, or if it's Christmas month or holidays in general, and we have to bump and move around. So I have to set up the date and the coordinates, and then there are reminders that are different dates from all that. So anyway, hopefully if anybody wants to vet the rest of the year, and if you pick up any discrepancies, please give me an email. But this one got by me until thankfully Jen pointed out that we had a discrepancy between the coordinates, which are usually the same as our meeting date. So I thought, what can we do with this? Because my students know how to get to the website. They know how to get to the coordinates, and half of them could have already worked it. So I thought, okay, we'll have the opportunity to work 2 targets, and you can choose which target. See if you could actually focus on the one that you chose, or if you had issues with bleed through or bleed over or target jumping. And you could work both if you wanted, or one or the other. So that being said, Lynn always has tonight's feedback that he makes go live. It's always behind the scenes until that day when he makes it go live, and it's not up. So I just took a few moments, and thankfully he had sent me some information in an email, so I put it together. So I have everybody's targets here on my desktop, your sessions. So we'll be switching to those in just a moment. And hopefully, I'm looking for Lynn's feedback because I thought I just sent it to the desktop as well. And I'm, of course, not seeing it. Let me do that again because it's right here. All right. And so, oh, there it is. Now I have it twice. Of course, it was there all the time. So I'm looking, I have 2 viewers who worked target 2-7, and you are both here. And I mean, I've got people from all over the globe here. So I always try to pay attention, like who's awake and where is it 2 a.m. And I've got people from Washington State here. I've got people from Nova Scotia and South America here. So I'm not going to be able to be of any benefit to anybody's sleep cycle in particular, I don't think. I think I'm going to go ahead and go with 2-4 first, just because I'm looking at my desktop here. Let me share my screen now, because you're going to have the opportunity to see Jen's use of advanced documenting. And by that, I mean a spreadsheet. And that's pretty cool. It's enough for me to be able to teach you guys how to remote view. And for me to be able to teach you, most of you are not interested in this spreadsheet, but I think if I put in a good word with Lori Williams, she would actually teach a workshop in it. So we'll show you that here in just a minute. I just have to find it. Where the heck is Jenny's session? It's probably in her Dropbox. That's just it. I also get emails coming in or sessions coming into like 3 emails in Dropbox. All right, so target 160124 is, I was the outbounder for this. Lynn was the outbounder for the other one. When I was on my way back from a conference, I had always wanted to stop at Knightstown, Indiana, and visit the gym and experience the culture of Indiana basketball as I grew up. Now, I was born in '54, so this is not my gym, but when I went to school in northern Indiana, this is the gym type atmosphere that was still around. You'll see what it looks like here in just a minute, but I went to the community center, which is a museum as well now. It has both functions, and the movie Hoosiers was filmed partly here. I mean, it was all over this area, and it used the local people uh, as cast members and stand-ins because the budget was horrible. It ended up being an Academy Award winning film. Actors in it did extremely well, got awards, and grossed like more than they ever thought, obviously. But so anyway, here is a shot of the entryway where you come in, and the 1954 Indiana State champion basketball players, and a scoreboard, and some of the memorabilia. But here's my outbounder statement for those of you who work this target. I visited Knightstown, Indiana in June of 2015. It was late afternoon. The weather was sunny, pleasant, and warm. People can be heard both inside and outside of the Knightstown Community Center, formerly the gymnasium of Milan High School. The building is now a museum as well as community center, commemorating basketball, small towns, community spirit, and the 1954 Indiana State Basketball Championship team, the Huskers. My very pleasant tour guide is one of the center's board members and was part of Milan's journey in 1954. He was also involved in the making of the movie Hoosiers, so I was fortunate to have him all to myself that day. The gym reminds me of the northern Indiana gyms of my youth, with elevated bleachers behind walls, the sounds of kids and adults talking, sneakers squeaking across polished wooden floors, and basketballs bouncing filled the air. The floor had just been refinished and everything smelled fresh and new. The 1954 team memorabilia fills the display cases and the locker room downstairs. The movie Hoosiers is always playing in the entryway where tickets to the game would have been sold back in the day. Sounds of the actors speaking and the music score are continually heard. Souvenirs are also available. And note the opposing team, somebody picked up blue and uniforms, I think, or something that would fit to that perception. The opposing team from South Bend is wearing blue and white uniforms in the championship game in the movie. And then I just took some information from Wiki that talks about the movie and the making of it, and some of the historic information about both Hickory and Milan won the state finals by 2 points. And it was really an epic underdog thing. The little bitty town came up against the big town, who had all the advantages and the taller players, everything. South Bend's big town compared to a little spit in the road like this. I mean, it's two crossroads out in the country in the middle of the cornfields. And it talks about, you can find this on Wiki. So, and my references are down below. But here's an outside shot of the building as I obviously came up to the entry. And some of the memorabilia. Larry Bird is he's here on the Wheaties box. I'm pointing him out. He's another big Indiana basketball player. So there's Pacers memorabilia here too. And some of the balls that they used in the game. Here's a shot of the gym and people playing. I had to be really careful. I didn't want to get anybody's faces. They don't charge. It's free. And they didn't charge me anything or ask me for anything if they normally would have. It was kind of late. It was about 4:30 in the afternoon. Donations. Part of the movie set stuff. Go Hickory all the way. My camera was too full to take any more pictures, so I didn't get anything of the locker room down below. But it actually has their old shoes from back in the day. I don't know how they ran in those things. And that's the shot of the stairs coming up and more shots of the bleachers. And they have a wall of fame with different pictures on it. So that is our feedback for the first target. And let me actually bring up the chat in case anybody's, somebody couldn't hear. No sound but carry on. Oh, Patrick's got sound. Okay, so let me bring up participants so I can see everybody too. All right, so let me see here. Who's this? Pat. I have 2 for Pat. Whoops. Well, at least I have 1. That's good. And I have Carrie Ann, and I have Russ. And let me check Dropbox, because I think I have Jen. Yep, there we go. Okay, so we'll start with Russ. He's at the top, but Russ he hasn't been here for several months, hasn't joined in with us. He remote views on his own, and he has a unique style of dowsing word lists. So he tells me that if he had to do it in a structured way, it probably wouldn't work. So if you remember back to our feedback photo, Russ got Gestalt of Biologicals, Seniors Man-Made, Spatial, Landy, Afternoon, Cooler. The colors are red, reddish pink, sky brown, black, gray, brassy, coppery, silver, galvanizing, bright. The textures are cord, soft, elastic, metallic, rubbery, and slick. Dimensions, several dangling under, uniformed, oblong, rectangular, triangular, sectioned, panel, abridging, shallow, rotates, bolted, ops, lower into, sandy, gravel, and rocky. Collector, confident, jumpsuits, labor sweats, seats painted, passage, watery, wilderness, trees, forest, river, clouds, manufactured, structured, framed, plumbing, machinery, whirs, sprays, strikes, electrical, oily, tar, feathering, taxis too. And by the way, from earlier webinars, if you remember from your summary is what you choose to keep from your whole session that you think are accurate perceptions and not imagination or polluted junk from your conscious mind. You'd parse that out just a little further, and you will need to, when you learn to write a good summary, you would remove the nouns. Don't pay attention to the nouns and look at pure perceptions and see how many of those are accurate. And that's mostly for the students or the people who don't know that we teach to remove nouns, because nouns are boxes of perceptions that we've put a label on. So if you name something, huge chance you're going to be wrong. If you describe it, increases your odds for successfully describing a target by, I don't know what percentage, but it's immeasurable. Well, probably could be measurable if you start racking up your scores. So anyway, what Russ is doing here, if he were to write this up in an official summary, if you started picking out perceptions, think how many of his perceptions are matching the feedback. So feel eminently an unpleasant pose, wrenching with quivering fatigue, maybe to extremes, an airy release, huge bounding with jerky rebound. This man had no idea what the target was. No idea. Possible associations, bios positioned may form a sort of V-shape, flowery scent toilet. Well, we can, make some guesses as to what that might be. I don't know what deodorant smelled like, but sorry, assumption on my part. That's very bad. Tell me more about the rectangular grid image. So he retasked himself for more detail about the rectangular grid image. Gestalts were man-made, bio at center, cold. Colors were yellowish amber orange, fleshy gray, spotty stains, tar black, part shaded. Textures hard metal, flexible, smooth, fabricated, and sandy. Dimensions are arc, pointed, triangular, oblong, long, tubal, hollow, open interior, and descends, lowers. Collectors, cable, thin, light, decorative, fabricated, concrete building, tunnel-like, AOL elevator shaft. Architecture, damaged steel, zinc, grease, canoe-like, shore, gurgles, rises, lowers, adults, bio. Tell me more about the reflex sketch. Gestalts, man-made, energetic, and cold. Colors were yellow, black, gray, light green, vegetation, torched, and silvery. Textures, rough, grid-like, elasticity, silky, and pitted. Dimensions, space, strung tall, dangling, rise lower, shallow. Collector, fabric, steel, zinc. Building, plume, machinery. Passes, bios. Seniors, seated, ceremonial, camp. Equipment, crashes. Shallow river, shoreline, floaty, equate, or measurements, inflated, bouncy, sphere, impacted, and plumbing. So let me see here. I'm going to see if Russ is here. Yep. Congratulations, Russ. If you want to talk, you can key up your mic. If you have any questions. If you have any comments, feel free. Or I can see if you have any. But remember, everybody, our webinars are open for everybody to come and learn. So you don't have to be a CRV student to come in. And here's Russ, taught himself how to get perceptions across time and space. Russ, I want to congratulate you. There are a ton of good perceptions in this summary that you've sent. Thanks for sending it. I don't know. Do you have questions? Can you see that you got a lot of hits out of this? Does anybody else have anything you'd like to? He's like typing in, yeah. You're welcome. Hey, how are you?
Oh.
Anyway, congratulations. If anybody has any comments or questions, go ahead.
I'd like to ask about what is collector? What does it mean, collector?
Russ, what do you mean by collector? I kind of wondered that myself. And let me see if I can open your mic back up. Where'd you go? There you are. Russ, idea. He typed in that collector means idea. And he says, how I got wilderness, etc. No idea. Oh, no idea. What does collector mean, Russ? A random list from all sense and class. Amazing. This is just a guy at home with a notebook. Pat, did you have a question?
I just wanted to say I've taken sessions from Russ before, and he's come a long way, and he's still extremely accurate in a lot of his perceptions. Thanks, Russ. That's actually a very, very long session from Russ compared to when I came across him about a year and a half ago.
TDS has a term called collectors, he says.
Yeah.
Okay. Classifications. Yeah, actually one of Russ's sketches from another session travels with me in my gallery, as does one of yours, Pat. When people see them, I made them into posters. And when people see them, it's better than a PowerPoint because PowerPoint, flashes and they really can't stand there and stay. But we can be standing there talking for half an hour, and the whole half an hour they're looking at that gallery of posters. And it's made a huge difference in the conversations I have with people and the understanding that they come away from that exposure to remote viewing if they've never heard of it before. Let's see. All right, well, moving right along. Let me see if he had anything else. I sent sketches here. Oops. I don't think in your PDF. Uh-oh. There's a black guy's face and a body. Well, I can't attest to any African Americans. Maybe actually on the team from South Bend, yes, there are. A silhouette. Okay. And I don't recall getting your PDF, but I'm sorry. I can look through them again and see, because some days I'm working from the iPhone and I'm careful not to download anything from the iPhone. I wait until I get to my PC. And you did send 2 emails, so maybe you sent it through on the second one. Great session, though. Very good job. Let me see. Now we have Pat. I'm going to do yours next just because you're across the ocean and it's probably 2 a.m. or worse there. So I'll try to give you a break.
It's half midnight. It's not too bad.
Yeah. But I even have alarms set all over the place here, so I show up an hour early because we've done it at 8 o'clock for I don't know how many years. All right, so this session came in from Pat McDonald. And Pat, what is your methodology? I know you use kind of a freestyle CRV, but are you a Morehouse or a Dames student as well and started kind of freelancing, and sometimes you use ERV? So what did you use to get your session results with this?
This was CRV trying to start with an ideogram and work away from the ideogram to some sort of set of perceptions, try and describe a site. And I'm very sorry I didn't go in the building, but there you go.
Like Lynn says, that one, if I'd have just done one more page.
Always, always. Basic mistake. There you go.
Yeah, I know, but you have to call a halt sometime. But that always is just a killer, isn't it? Just one more page. If I would have just done. All right, so let's see what you've got here. Summary. Target site is an elevated site consisting of multiple different structures and buildings next to a large area of fresh water, a river, a lake. I'm the outbounder. I can't vouch for that, but I wouldn't be surprised. You can do a Google map on that. I get the impression it's a large facility for one purpose involving pumping liquids. Sorry, I'm just making sure. Nope, that's not Lynn. We're going to ignore that. This time of day, all the solicitors know you're at home and they really like to sell you something. I get the impression it's a large facility for one purpose involving pumping liquids. Occasionally, there are buildings all around there. So you should probably try to research that, because I think there might be one close by, but I can't vouch for it.
Okay.
May I say something?
Yes.
Maybe the pumping liquids. The pumping leaks may be the high heartbeat in the athletes and the blood circulating within their bodies while they are playing basketball.
You know, that's something to consider.
Pumping is very much a sort of basketball adjective. So.
Yeah, when you pump the ball.
That could be coincidence. I mean, never mind.
It is. It's one of those things you never buy in, but you always put it over there and keep it in the corner of your mind to consider. So occasionally more people visit than are currently present. Yeah. Colors seem blue, brown, gray, and orange. transcript, and there are people out there playing ball. I think they're probably wearing some blue. I shouldn't say probably, we should look, but we can see that in the feedback photos if people are wearing those colors.
Well, there's a lot of those colours there. I mean, what I should have put was orange writing. When I was doing the colours, I just saw these writing outlines in orange, and I didn't put the word writing. Didn't include that in my session. That was bad as well.
Write it down.
Yeah, doesn't count. Never mind.
Then you describe your ideogram. You had an AOL of the Grand Canyon. That's not quite in that that particular region. Doesn't really have hills of that nature.
No.
Just saying.
AOL. Yeah.
Structure, yeah, usually an AOL might be at the target or it reminds you of something. So I'm not sure what it reminded you of, but anyway. Curving structures. Curving sides widen and narrow. Top seems flat. Other one has points and spikes on the top, and you have a couple sketches we'll scroll down to. AOL of TV antenna, ledges and steps. Then I took a break.
Steps I just saw in the feedback, so they were there.
Oh yeah. Liquid flowing, some is piped, arranged and sequenced, ordered. The man-made, some water flows past the site, commercial elevated area, globular structure, ladders on the side.
Globular structure, basketball. I mean,
no.
Not really, but a basketball is an object. Globular to describe us, so call it 50.
Most people think of structure as a building. That's what usually comes to mind first. However, structure in remote viewing is like man-made.
Yeah.
So that, it's a concept. And so that opens that up. Until you understand that point, you blow that off as being totally inaccurate. So if there's a man-made that has a globular shape, so I'm just saying you have to think about all this stuff. You can't just give it a drive-by. So you had an AOL of fire escape, squarish, cubical structure of building low, water and liquid, and coordinate. People, strange. People associated with structure building B, but feel little, if any, contact other than site parts.
Yeah, it was like a strange thing with people. It was like, well, sometimes there's loads here, and right now there's not many at all. Because I guess I kind of sensed it was a real time. I don't know if the time of the session was anything to do with your time there. What time, is this 7:30?
Well, I was there. I was there at about 4:30 in the afternoon, and there were only a few people there as compared to when that gym would be packed, and there would be a lot of people there.
Okay, so I viewed it about 3 hours after that, so.
Well, you should have viewed, the present time, the present time was about 4:30. It might have been a little earlier than that. I was on my way back from Missouri, so, and I thought, I'm going to do this. I've meant to do this for 10 years. I'm going to do this, or more than 10 years. So anyway, I'm going to do this. The sign says. So I thought, okay, I'm not going to get home till late, but whatever. All right, so people, let's see, the temperature was a bit chilly, about 50 degrees Fahrenheit. I think it was a little warmer than that, but maybe inside. Water area feels freshwater, not salt like a lake or river. It feels barren, not much happening right now, sometimes busy. Feels like the site arranged and managed to pump liquid large scale, and vegetation is scarce. Detect some twiggy plant branches. Well, it was a little more foliage than that. And here's your session with your sketches, including steps and including your globular structure.
Yeah, curves to it, but straighters to it as well. It's not really accurate.
Now, you shouldn't say that until you look at that location and see what the buildings around that look like. You could Google map it, but I can't do it right now. We used to do that back in the day. You and I'd have a pretty good time with that, just exploring, because we did it all around San Francisco.
Right now. I can't do that. I don't have the force currently. Sorry.
Yeah, well, I can't do it anymore. I mean, I can, just not during webinar anymore, so
Yeah.
I'll shut down. So thank you very much for sending in your session. I appreciate it and hope we get to see more of you. Maybe starting an hour early will help you be able to show up every now and then.
Thanks.
And
Okay, Bob. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And I did get your note about going back to school and healthcare, and congratulations on that. How's that going?
It's not to report, really. Not to report. It hasn't gone bad, so.
Okay. Well, hope to see more of you. And thanks for sending. All right, so let's take a peek here at Miss Carrie Ann.
Teresa?
Yo, go ahead, Jay.
One question.
Yeah.
Patrick wrote within parentheses the places where he draws sketches in the report. He said just a sketch. Is it necessary to put in the report or not?
Your sketch?
No, he just wrote it within parentheses.
That's not.
Sketch.
We don't teach that, no.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Carrie Ann, I am so proud of her. Is she still with us? She was. Yep. I tell you what, she is one busy girl, and I'm proud. I mean, I haven't seen or heard from her for months because she's in school. All of a sudden, I get an email, teacher, here are 2 sessions, 1 for each target, and I'm like, okay, I should fasten my seatbelt here. Mark the day.
Well, the earlier time is good for me too.
Yeah. All right, so I apologize. I mean, I can only take them in order, and I really apologize that somebody ends up like losing sleep because you end up being last. I try not to make that the same person every week, but poor Bob always got stuck with that because he was the most advanced student, and he would have reams of information. So anyway, Carrie Ann, let's see, good structure, and I'm just scrolling down through here looking at your good job on your several ideograms all at once and laying them out. Getting a sketch here and there, but not dwelling. Very good. Moving right along. Lots of different gestalts to work from. And I've already looked at this to a certain extent. And Carrie Ann has just moved into intermediate but hasn't had a chance to do many sessions. So she's cueing herself and moving around somewhat, asking questions like, who else is important? And getting descriptions. You might want to watch, like over here on the right, I'm seeing Stray Cat of Crew, AOL Space Shuttle Crew, and Current, and you're not leaving any space in between. So always remember to drop down some. You did up above, so maybe that's, yeah, you were doing it fine up above. I don't know what happened right there. Of course, I had to pick on that. You did it fine above. All right, here's an AI, which can be really confusing for some people. They don't get that all of a sudden. It's the I-me relationship with the target. So AI reminds me of 4th of July Festival. I'm here walking around in the crowd. Might be having a little bleed over from the next target, and you did work both of them. But she is...
And I worked one right after the other, so I don't know if that hurt me a little bit.
Well, you're going to have an affinity for that second one. I hate to say it. Did you take any kind of a break between the 2?
Yeah, I took a break and ate dinner and kind of chilled out for about an hour or 2.
Good job. But I'm glad you found time to work 2 sessions, but sometimes you will get that. I mean, try and remember to detox. You don't have to. I think we're one of the, Lynn's bunch is the only folks who probably even bring that up, but make sure you separate from that target after every session, whether you're ending your session or taking a break and coming back tomorrow. Just go through and go up through your perceptions and just yours or mine. Make sure you unzip and get the heck out of there. And then you can also, up in your administrative section, you can, and I highly encourage that you also set aside previous sessions, and that way you aren't worried about whether or not they're bleeding through or something reminds you of another one and you start fixating on it. Okay, we have a nice sketch here. Making our way down to purpose, religious-like, celebration, leisure, relaxing, music is involved. We'll see how your next session looks with this other target. So summary, motion energy, organic, water, land, natural. The motion energy is fast, smooth, flowing, non-turbulent, moving through tube-like structure, AOL instrument. Predominant color is green. Sound of bells, there's water. Water is used in man-made process. Organic is people in a crowd of two in particular. The males, black, tall, young, healthy, shorter. Female, young, healthy, and has long hair. People are engaged in a leisure / rejuvenating religious-like activity and are swaying or dancing. Atmosphere is celebratory. It is outside and music is involved. So I can't feed back on quite a bit of that the day that I was there. That's a community center. If you didn't land accurately, for the museum when I was there, if they were using it for another function, it's always possible, but that's pretty bad waffling and fudging on my part. All I can say it is a community center and they do use it for other purposes, but not the day I was there. Let me see if Jen's in here yet. I really don't want to go over her session until, and I think Leisha, I think you just sent me a session today too. All right, Jen's not here yet, so that gives me reason to not look at her session. Leisha, I'm going to grab the Dropbox really quick and see if I have something from you in there for this session. Yeah, I thought so. Okay. I was just trying to get that out of the way. So much for that. All right, so Leisha is a basic student, and I'm hoping to move her into intermediate very shortly. She's been doing better. Good form. And we had a little chat tonight. Yeah. All right, we actually looked at this session last night. All right, she's working on not getting nouns in her feel part of her IAB, or of her A. There's stream and people. So we're working on not getting nouns and more perceptions of hard. There's one for land. And open, there's one for space. All right, so let's see. Moving right along. It's about an hour in, so we're not doing too badly here. Humanoid. Now, we had a little chat about this last night. She's just trying to avoid nouns, so she didn't want to say human. I'm like, whoa. Look up the definition of humanoid, because that's a noun too. So she's not describing aliens. She just didn't want to say human, just to clarify that for folks. And let me see. And Dwayne, you are talking to me, and I need to find your session because I think you just sent it this afternoon, if I recall. All right, so let's see. We're working on, she's just learned to write summaries much better in her last few sessions. So let's go down to see what perceptions she decided to keep and what ones she thought were junk, sorted by Gestalt. And I like this. Look right here. Makes no sense. I did that at a target once too. Jot it down. Make a note. Makes no sense. That's fine. Keep on going. Here's another one. I'm teaching her to write note. Where am I? Might be part of her AI right there. She's working on AIs. And she was trying to be a good, the tree huggers would love her. She wrote her perceptions above her sketch. We had a little talk about they come after the sketch. So she had labeled where she felt different things are in this sketch. Now remember, your conscious mind is going to try to label things. So what looks like a mountain may be a building. So you just think of it as something really, really big, mountain-like. So you automatically start making all these assumptions. But what you do is imagine laying her sketch on top of the feedback photo someplace and see if things seem to make sense. They aren't what you think, but the gestalts and the concepts are there. Let me see, what did she say number 4 was? Number 4 is water. Man, everybody's getting water at this thing. I must have gone across a river or something. Target has components of organic, water, space, land, and motion. Organic has elements of many, tall, short, intense, and focused. Water has elements of saliency, nice big word, depth, vastness, and beauty. Land has elements of high, low, deep, and hard. Space has elements of opening, vast, clarity, and clearing, and motion has elements of fluttering, flowing, and waving. So when you think about folks playing basketball, a fair amount of those are going to be hits. But when we get to the next target, which there's not a whole lot of water at that target, you know, and I'm not to confuse you. Part of this whole exercise was to get the target and focus on the target, the one that you chose. Okay, Alicia, I shut your session down, but do you have comments, questions, anything you'd like to say? You're getting better. You really are. Trying to figure out how to shut that down.
I was just thinking, now that I see that it's a basketball game, event, basketball area, there's actually quite a bit of water unseen there. I just remember the gymnasium, and there were all the water fountains and the waters in the bathrooms, and there's just a lot of water there that's not visible.
There is.
When I see that, I think about the water on that one.
Yeah, you have to don't be careful though not to fudge and waffle. Like your water is deep and vast, and you know, if you were looking for a leaky water pipe in a building, you know, that might work. And so it's like there are pipes hidden and all that kind of stuff, but just be careful, don't go down that waffling road too far.
Okay? I try not to.
Yes, ma'am, I know. But you did have quite a bit of hits in there.
I was surprised the blue hit.
Yeah, well, you shouldn't be surprised at anything. They're right there, blue gym curtains. But see, when you get in the more advanced stages of training, just seeing something blue, right now you're making sight contact and learning. Just seeing something blue at the sight, you know, really doesn't cut it. You need to say if the blue is the man-made and start shaking it out and what you're looking at, because you know, other than that, it's too broad and too general, and everybody in the whole world could be a remote viewer, okay? Intermediate will help you with that a lot, because you'll be looking at a specific part of the target, and you will see whether or not that part of the target matches up with your perceptions in not quite so broad and general of a way. All right, so Russ, daggone it, I do not remember getting your session or downloading it. Let me, oh, Evans, right there. I'm Dwayne, that's who I'm looking for. I don't remember downloading it, and I remember seeing it, I think, on my iPhone. Let me just look really fast. If I didn't delete it after I...
Yeah, I didn't send one in.
You didn't?
Did not.
I
thought about it. I did one, but I didn't send it in.
Because you sent the little picture that said you were stoked, and I thought sure you said you sent it.
No, I didn't send one in. Yeah, sorry. I was just, yeah. Sorry, I didn't.
Okay, well, at least you worked the session. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, I wish I did the second one, but it's
really?
cool. I'll do it next month, though.
Very good.
Thank you thank you.
You're welcome. All right, I'm just thinking that I remembered your message when I saw you over there, and I thought, uh-oh, on this one. Okay, so let's grab, where is, oh, Jen Tyson's is up in, is she here yet? I think it is Wednesday, and she sings in the church choir, if that's what's going on. All right, so let's pull up Lynn's target, 160127, and this is a NASA picnic. It's a NASA family outing, and that's actually a balloon. It's not the shuttle. And there is another aerial shot. And some mountains that looks very blue and beautiful in the background. And I don't know what those big black look like, torpedoes. I don't know what that is. But if he's got it in here, it must be significant.
I think it's just runway markings.
You think?
Yeah, looks like a dry lake bed.
Precisely.
Yeah, it's nice to have two aerospace people with us. We have experts in the crowd. All right. By the way, this is from Lynn, and it's his email. This one for this month is an afternoon of family-style outing strictly for NASA employees, astronauts, and NASA and other dignitaries. Let me fix this so that maybe shows up better for the recording. Let's see, NASA employees, astronauts, and other dignitaries. They had several hot air balloons for entertainment, including the government's balloon of the space shuttle, picture attached. I intend to make that balloon and or the event the target. The location is a large makeshift tent with families eating and kids playing, loud music playing over a speaker system, surrounded by a place that is absolutely flat desert as far as the eye can see in all directions, picture attached. Carrie Ann, no wonder you're attracted. The location was picked because it is near one of the real shuttle's emergency landing strips, picture attached, providing NASA a runway to fly in some of the astronauts and dignitaries, We can task them, meaning you guys, with the event and or the man-made, but there's really zilch to describe if we task them with the location. I included this entire email so that it becomes a little bit of a tasking piece for you as to how these targets are set up for learning purposes. So I'll stick to a man-made or an associated event. That would be his tasking when this finally goes live on his resources on his website. I was there and took the pictures so I can answer most of the questions that come up. I took the pictures from the ground and also from one of the balloon rides that they were giving the attendees. The pictures are of the balloon as it was first inflated, then didn't fly because of its size and the prevailing winds, and then as it was deflated at the end of the outing. Although the space shuttle balloon didn't fly that day, I'm hoping that it will still make a good target. Right now I'm trying to make sure that none of the people in the pictures will be identifiable. I can either pixelate their faces or just crop to cut them out of the picture. Either way, I'll have it for you on time and send you a link ahead of time there before making it available on the website. I don't plan to include a dowsing map because the location is not publicly available. So, that being said, now you have the background of what was going on. And it was in the Southwest. We can pretty much figure that out. So, and I just called it a NASA family outing. So, let's see what we've got here. What we have here. And then once we're over, I'll go ahead and show Jen's because she's got the use of that outline in a spreadsheet form. Okay, so I grabbed Jay's, and Jay is still, Jay views everything like he views the entire world at once. I'm trying to have him narrow it down, and he's really come a long way. I mean, he would work on one session and get reams of information, but it didn't really mean a whole lot. And he's learning to fine-tune it now. So this is good. He gets a lot of AI and concept type information. A lot of things that aren't tangible that other people don't pick up. So I'm just going to scroll down. And he's trying to work on learning, outlining the way Jen does it. She's just went to school with Lori, so she's crossing over. So instead of listing his stuff horizontally, he lists everything vertically without the indents. Okay, so review of structure. Pretty good. And Jay came into this with some esoteric information already and remote viewing without being a remote viewer. And so and this is just to share with you what issues that come up for some of you, not all of you, but it's good to understand that these are things that happen so that if it does happen to you, you recognize it, or something that may come up that you will never get. But Jay is struggling with IAB sequence all from the minute his paper hits the pen. His subconscious is blasting him with information, and he doesn't get the feel part of A very well. He will get tons of perceptions, and instead of stray catting them, he's just trying to keep up and writing them down. So he's doing much better. At least this one, he only has 4. When he touches his pen to the paper, he doesn't really get any feel or anything. He just gets this entire blast of perception. So we don't want to really chastise his subconscious too severely while we're trying to gently get it to start playing ball within structure. He did, however, just so you know, I put him in CRV boot camp for a little while, and he had to work a whole series of targets. Like if you imagine a plane learning to land on the deck of an aircraft carrier, just doing what I call touchdowns and takeoff. You touch down, you take right back off. That's all he was allowed to do. He was not allowed to work a full target for a little while. And he had to work a whole bunch of targets, just trying to get his subconscious to realize we're needing this stuff to come in, when we ask for it. Don't blast us with stuff. We're trying to get you to report in an orderly way. That's the control part of CRV, part of it. So believe it or not, he's working hard and getting better, and I appreciate all of that. Each of you are different, and you face your own issues and learning curves. And that makes it pretty neat, actually, as an instructor, because nobody comes from a cookie cutter. And that's one of the reasons I kind of changed my program to incorporate basic just flowing into intermediate. When I think you're ready to move, we move. I don't want to dump too much on you too fast, though. I want to make sure that you understand what you're doing before we move you up to the next level. All right, so some of his P2 stuff, energy and man-made, possibly motion pertinent. Possibly it's pertinent to the man-made. Pretty cool. Flying, totally massive, drinking, changing, bluing. Now, thing is, you get these subject matter experts in flying and stuff with a target like this, and you're liable to get language that I don't get, but they get. So that can be pretty interesting. Jay used to be a pilot. So Jay, if you want to chime in and start asking questions and stuff, I can read off all of your perceptions from your summary. I'm kind of scrolling down because you get some unusual stuff from time to time. Do you want to chime in it or anything?
I'll make a few comments. I realize that my subconscious mind is like a prima donna. Anything it touches, it reacts 1,000-fold more intensely than the actual target might look like to my conscious me, you know. So I find it very funny. The other thing I said in the email to you is that it looks like the door stuck open because, for example, while I was waiting for this online discussion to start, my brain just started pouring out more perceptions from this target. So it's very interesting, the process that I'm learning about. And I realized that I'm probably getting more garbage than I'd like to get in this process, because now that I have the feedback, it looks like I got much more things and many more things than we can actually have at the target. But I have to analyze the session later on and see what's going on. But I really enjoyed it. My subconscious really had a ball with the target.
Like when you said right now, you know, and I could see exactly what you're saying. You're back in session as soon as the feedback came up. Be really careful with that. When you end session or when you take break, you have got to be firm. You end session or you're taking a break. Otherwise, you're going to be right back at the target site, you know, viewing again. So that's part of the learning curve, whether you entertain that process, okay? So, I mean, once you get a little more advanced and we start retasking and stuff like that, that's pretty cool because you'll go chasing details in a purposeful way. But make sure you end session even today and detox if you've been sitting there writing down perceptions, okay?
Okay. I have to detox after writing the report, as you already told me by email. And it's just funny. Sometimes I just write down the purpose, a session end, and other things continue coming, and I just have to write down, stop it. And so the flow ceases. But whenever the chance comes, it's blow. I just hear la la la. I am distracted, and the word starts putting in again. I had to say stop, please. Not to do that right now. But I'll pay attention to what you said.
Yeah, exactly, because that's part of learning the control of controlling remote viewing. It's like, not now, not now. You know, it's like the little kid who's pulling on mom's skirt. Mom. Not now. So that's part of the whole learning curve. So good job for recognizing that and continuing to work on it. I'm going back up through your summary now to see what if any of this works with a hot air balloon festival picnic type atmosphere in a desert.
As I said,
possibly Russian or Russian related. I like that.
Yes, because I had 2 times I had a Russian word, 2 Russian words that pop out, and so I said, well, gotta be some Russian stay in there, but
could very well be. Wouldn't surprise me.
Maybe the dignitaries you talked about.
Natural has aspects, reminds you of an accordion. That's pretty cool. By the way, oh, you're sticking for my benefit from what the dictionary says. Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't have how do you say that word? M-E-R-C-A-T-O-R. I'm not familiar with that word.
Mercator.
Okay. So I can count on you for bringing up some stuff that I have never heard of before. And then overall, the target has aspects of hammerhead. Okay, I really think I need to get you into using this next kind of outline summary, because we need to get you indenting.
Yes, I'm starting to learn it intuitively now, right at the session, but still very tentatively, you know.
It's all right. You're learning your remote view. Every time you do a session, you're going to learn something. It's what matters.
All right.
Okay. Better than the sessions I saw 2 months ago. Good job.
Thank you very much.
Okay, who's this? We're done with that one. Thank you, Windows 7, 10. Sorry about that. All right, scanning the crowd again here. See if I don't think anybody's arrived, so Jen's not here yet either. Okay, Carrie Ann.
I had a little bit of trouble with the scanner, so I actually have 2 pages out of order stuck on the back.
Okay. Well, you wouldn't be the first person. Some days we're lucky to get anything at all. Lynn cracks up. Like, I'll have some weeks where 3, 4 people have scanners, and he just cracks up. He's going, huh, a remote viewer having trouble with electronics. Imagine that. Hope he's doing okay. All right, let me see. We have 8 pages, so that's not a ton of stuff. So you're doing well with structure. I'm headed for summaries. AOL Eskimos and Native Americans. You know, now I remember. I thought that was pretty interesting, your sketch with your face. I think that was you. I don't think it was Jen.
That was me. I think it's towards the end, like one of the extra pages I added on. I just kept seeing a person's face.
Can't verify the person is there without Lynn, but it would not surprise me. Nice sketch of the mountains and stuff. You've got numbers. So that's after AI from picture. 1, I'm at a high elevation. And you used to live in this area, kind of, sort of, did you? Even though we don't know exactly where it is, I'm reasonably sure it's the southwest.
Yeah, so I lived out by Edwards for a while, which could be where it is. And I've also been to White Sands, which is also where it could be, I think.
Okay, I'm at a high elevation. I can look down, and it is dark at the base of the large terrain feature. to my right, and in front of me is another terrain feature with a pointed top. The side closest to me has vegetation on it, and the side further from me does not. There's another tall feature, mountain-like, to the front of left side, another terrain feature nearer me that is not as tall or as pointy as the other features. It's really misty and foggy out more often than not. And gave yourself a move command to clear weather. Okay, I know technically you're in intermediate, although you haven't been viewing, so you wanted to get your feet wet, stick with basic for a little bit, and I'm totally fine with that. When you give yourself a move command like this, just write on the left-hand side of the page, move to clear weather. That's all you have to do. You don't have to, I'm just pointing out, you don't have to say time or anything. Just move to a time of clear weather or something along that line.
Okay.
Then let's see. I like this little sketch here. It looks like a brain. Is that topology or something?
I'm not sure. It looked really green when I saw it. I kept seeing that, just kind of the shape.
Okay, now that is one pretty cool sketch. And I bet you it means something to somebody.
The pages are out of order.
Oh, got you. The next ones?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, check this out. Lynn's in a balloon. He said, rice, brown wicker woven basket, natural fibers, handmade. One and two. You've got your sketch labeled there and the perceptions underneath it. So, rice being a noun. So just saying, you've got some nouns in here. You have to be a little careful. Did it remind you of rice or something, or?
Yeah, I kind of got this, I guess, the look of little grains of rice. I guess I could have said something to describe, I guess, the collection of grains. And I guess I
reminds grainy or reminds me of or anything like that. Just when you lock yourself into saying rice, and we're at a hot air balloon festival where they have baskets probably that Lynn would verify that he was probably standing in, or if he wasn't, there was probably one like right over there, which is very common. There's a good chance that's a hit. But when you lock yourself into rice, then you set yourself up for being a target. So, summary, there are elements of land organic motion, energy, and natural. One organic is a person who is old, wise, wrinkled, no facial hair, black or gray hair, short, not modern, spiritual, happy, with large ears, peaceful, and weathered, leathery skin. Environment is rugged and old. It is mountainous. There are primitive structures built as memorials or temples. There are primitive structures built as, at least one. They are on the edges of mountains. There are at least 3 mountains. It is at a high elevation. There is some sort of organic feature that is manipulated into what does that say? A what?
Alignment.
Alignment. Thank you. There's a sense of maintaining wisdom of the ages. And then your out of order pages, as you pointed out. Thank you, scanner. Bright green line, dimmer in the middle. Disorderly, organic, field, energetic. Okay. AOL, brain, river delta, Egypt, Nile River Delta, and pyramids. And you had some ideas pop in. So purpose, knowledge, keeping, legacy, and sage, wisdom of the ages, and old place. Now, let's see. You gave yourself a move command of what am I supposed to, or Q, what am I supposed to focus on in this target? and labeled 1 high altitude rock face and 2 old structure, primitive materials, memorial, and temple. And then here's the face that you sketched. Super old, wide face, happy, smiling, very wrinkled forehead, wide lips, large ears. Well, Lynn has large ears. I don't know, and he's not super old, but he's a little old. So I'm not saying that this is Lynn, but you know, even if there wasn't somebody actually in the group, could have been somebody, you know, because you fixated on the mountains, what was important to view. So it might have been an observer of some kind who was native to the region. I don't know. Do you have any gut feel on that?
Yeah, I kind of had the feeling it was like a Native American or something along those lines. And I was drawn to, I really like mountains, which is funny because it was almost, I guess, in competition with the space stuff. But I was just completely drawn to the mountains, and that was like my focus of the session.
And the fact that you were from that area too. All right, well, kind of really excited to see some of you guys moving forward, because the next step, Jay, you're really close. Lisa, so are you. And Carrie Ann, you just need to practice more and just start doing it, because you're already getting a lot of intermediate level stuff, because you were a Morehouse student before you came to me. So, I mean, you're ready to jump ahead anytime and just shuffle what you're already getting into the right columns, because I think that you'll fall right into place.
Yeah, and I think for me, the main reason I haven't moved ahead is just because I don't really have much time, so doing a short session in the beginner framework is usually more something I can set in my schedule.
And I am grateful to see you doing that, because after all, you're wanting to learn this, but there are only so many hours in a day. And as your teacher, I try really hard not to be disappointed. But I understand completely, theses come first. So, got it. All right, so we have some commentary off to the right path. Been doing some Googling. It looks like Milan Pond appears about 350 yards from Hickory Milan High School site. It's about a mile long. Very good, everybody. There's water at the site on the other target. All right, so let me get Jen's session out of the Dropbox. Oh, no, here it is. All right, now you're going to have a chance to see, we've had some of these before. Of folks who have had a little more training or opportunity. I'm trying to move this stuff around, sorry. To use this type of reporting format. And like I said, some days I'm just grateful that your scanners work, that you get things sent, or that a point comes across and you get it. And some people can hardly write a paragraph summary, and most of my students have not been interested to the extent that I wanted to focus on this spreadsheet. But it is really, when you get into the advanced stages and in operations, it's a wonderful thing, because here you are able to actually import your pictures right into the part of the target that you were reporting on at that time when you're writing your summary. So Jen writes here, gestalts, and you score your session at the same time as well, but I'm not seeing that with hers. So biologicals, the gestalts were biologicals 1 and 2, man-made 1, 2, and 3, energy, water, and energy 2. Biological is human-like presence, natural setting, spaced out, feels lonely, in motion, kind of crazy, green, I feel like this is a little insane and a lot of testosterone. And by the way, she was viewing 2-4, the high school, the basketball stuff. That's the session that she looked at. So a lot of testosterone. Yeah, I'd say that's a hit. Energy, strong, directional, thrust, break, forwards, focus, narrow to wide. And notice the indenting when she comes over in the column. The directional is A, thrust, break, and forwards. Then she's back to the energy is focused. The focus is narrow to wide. Then she comes back. The man-made is metallic and has focus. The focus is pressurized, forceful, liquid present. It feels complex. It feels like a mad scientist sort of thing. Then back to the man-made. So we're shifting what she's looking at the target and what she is describing at the target. Back to the man-made itself is bluish silver and has a matte finish. And for those of you who are not in intermediate yet, in structure, when she gets the word focus, then she will write underneath it, focus again, and the perceptions that come after that mean that it belongs to the perception of focus. Then when she's finished, when those dry up or she's finished, she thinks, describing the focus, then she will move back in the columns to the man-made itself, and it's bluish silver and has a matte finish. Concepts. The concepts are force, movement, push, and brush. Man-made 1, and here we have another sketch that she's inserted. She was learning to do this in December and was ready to pull her hair out. And Nova Scotia doesn't, I guess, always have the best internet capability. So sometimes she has problems outside her system. So man-made 1, let's see, she has here, trying to match these up. The sketch has slippery, greasy, open with soft edge, ridge with hard edge, natural, and man-made. And trying to figure out where that figure 1, it says man-made, see figure 1. Color, gold colored, dull luminance, green patina. Shape is cylinder, round, tapered, flared, and see figure 2. Okay, figure 2, biological in detail. Or the shape done, sorry, that shape goes with what she just, the shape in the cylinder figure 2 goes with the shape perception she just described. So biological, sorry, I'm also checking comments here. In biological 2 in detail, session note, flash impression of an astronaut in zero gravity training from a previous session in a cerulean blue jumpsuit. This bio has something in common with that astronaut. In the pictures in the movie, on the sidelines, I saw where the team from South Bend is standing on the sidelines, and their shirts, like their tank shirts, are white with blue letters and I think blue edging, but their pants, the breakaway or zip-off pants, their jogging pants, are blue. So courageous, daring, fearless, feels immortal, cavalier, really talkative here. Now she's in the SI column, and this is a lot of perceptions, so I don't know if she got them all at once, because for me, per Lynn's advice, I only get to hang out in the SI column, and if there are biologicals at the site, per the very old 1985 stuff in the CIA report, I mean, it directs you. You pick up on people, you move to the people. You dialogue with the people. And some of us can't afford to hang out with the people for that long because we start bonding with the people. So she's asking in the SI column, I asked, how do you feel? Excited. They evidently feel excited. Somebody at the site feels excited, stimulated, intense, busy, focus on hands. I have to keep good balance, really concentrating. I'm a little frustrated. It's not perfect yet.
Other people are annoying me. I ask, what are you doing? I'm working. This is a creative work. It's action-packed. I'm mechanical. Visual image of gears interlocking, solo, together as a team. Then energy motion 2, here, splat, oof, and umph. That's cool. Good descriptors. She's also a writer. Feel, pressure on chest, sudden forceful impact. Sense, it knocked the wind out of me. Okay, let's do it again. See, light movement at 11 o'clock. Flash, quick movement. And I don't have a number or C sketch, figure, whatever. Doing a timeline here. She's asking on a timeline or a size, scalar size measurement of, looks like 1 or 0 to 100 feet. She's got her X at about 40 feet. And length method pendulum is a measurement on this scale, affirmative. And then is the measurement on this scale, affirmative. So we've got one a little more like at about maybe 25, not even 25. It's not halfway on up to the 50. So there's some dowsing going on right there. So you can see some use of pendulums and scalar tools in P6. The man-made 3, thin, white, flat, metallic light, or composite light. And you know, much as I hate to say this, I can't wait to get you guys to the point where you get to use P6 tools, because I think all of you are going to be really good at it. And I'm sorry, I should have said those of you in training. Russ, you're pretty phenomenal, and Dwayne, I mean, you guys sit out there and you just douse stuff in notebooks, and it's the amount of hits you get is amazing. You know, if you can take, there's some dowsing stuff out on the net that you could possibly take courses and stuff into. So I would highly encourage it, because you guys are getting that target and getting a fair amount of hits, or a lot of hits. So man-made 3, thin, white, flat, metallic-like, or composite-like, springy. Note, I have more images which could be processed in the scrying session, but had to stop due to time constraints. Jen is a mirror scryer, and she was doing that when she came to me for CRV training, and she's hoping to incorporate that into her P6 tools, or Lynn said P4, but to me it's more of a P6 tool. But comment from Dave over here. It seems that some of these sessions at the gym, the viewers are being drawn from the boring museum outbounder experience to a time when there is more excitement and energy. Well, that's true, because I mean the movie is like part of this whole exercise that my outbounder exercise, because it's like interwoven with that. And yeah, so as far as moving back and forth between that, it's a good point. And I actually kind of expected, I think, and I hadn't even thought about that until right now, was the movie was more of my expectation than me reporting on the gym. Maybe I'm just like the entryway. I'm the portal at that gym to the movie rather than just view the movie. I don't know. I'd have to think about that. There's all kinds of opportunity for move commands, though, if you were retasking somebody. Let's see. It feels like some kind of weird water sportish thing. And here is her actual session.
Lots of water for everybody.
Yeah.
The other thing I noticed is it seemed like there was kind of this concept of pipes or some kind of flow of water that seemed to be in several sessions.
See, we're back to Alicia, and she's pointing out that we have all kind of plumbing in that building. And Pat's pointed out that we have a huge pond right around the corner. I wonder if there's like a water filtration plant or something like right next door. It's pulling everybody for some reason. Okay, let's open it up. We have a little bit of time here, and I'll see if anybody else is. Nope, nobody new has come. So, general discussion, questions, whatever we want to do for a few minutes. Because I have this blocked out till 9, but then unfortunately school is calling and I get to go write a little paper. So
I'm really amazed with the other sessions, the other guys and girls, and they really inspire me to keep pushing with my planning to get to the point where they are. And I really enjoyed the sessions.
That's kind of part. It's a double-edged sword, and Lynn and I knew this back when we started doing it. Because actually I volunteered. Dave can tell you, I don't know how many years ago it's been when I volunteered to start doing this online, and we didn't have one place we could go. We tried all kind of places where you'd have to sign in, some place you could talk, and then go to another place you could upload sessions and stuff like that. And I told Lynn I wanted to do it, and this is back on the CRV list in his Yahoo groups, and I talked to him about it before, and he's like, if you want to take it on, you're in charge. People have said it before. They don't follow through. We never do it. And I'm the one that it falls on, and I'm not doing it. I'm just going to come down and sit in the chair and put my headset on. The work's on you. I'm like, okay, I got it. Doesn't mean I won't fall down, but I got it. And so anyway, we've stuck with it all these years. And Dave, how many years do you think it's been by now? I don't have any idea. I started training in 2015 or 2005. So I don't know how long it was after that. But we started out knowing that students who had hardly any, it's like riding the bus in school back if you're in the country. And the little kids are sitting next to the big kids. And that can be good and that can be bad. But you start learning stuff just because you're sitting next to them and you're watching them. So we knew that would happen with you guys. And so I think it's helped with your training immensely because you're moving ahead even faster than what you did or could have if you'd have just been, this is a map of me. I don't want a map of Troy, Ohio, for crying out loud. I was just going to see if there was anything, Milan, Indiana, just for the heck of it. We have some time. Okay, well, there we go. I was there. Milan, Indiana, state champs, 1954, Street View.
Are we gonna go over my session?
No, who's here? Who's talking?
RVT. I sent in a session.
Yes, you did. Hang on, which email did you send it to?
It's AII, I think it's
Okay. Well, you just brought me right up in my chair. Because you always have great sessions. Of course, we want to look at that. Thank you for digging me
looks like I have
a
little bit of. I think I have a little bit of both targets. So that's gonna be interesting. How do people know about the 27 target? I'm confused about that because, you know, when I was doing the session, I was like,
sure.
Okay, 20.
Okay, if you go to my website, let me just show you real quick.
Meeting on the 27th. And
okay, here, when you go through my website, you can, sorry, I did it really fast. So you can go to online classes and discussions, register for remote
Because in the sign-up email, it says 24.
Right. But we're actually getting together on the 27th. So anybody who noticed that the target coordinates don't match up with the date, and so everybody started figuring that out. So that's because they've just been doing this for a while. And they figured out that this isn't right, Teresa, what's going on?
Yes, so I was wondering, like, how does the subconscious behave? I guess in a situation like that when you have.
Well, that's where you have the opportunity to pay attention to your training, and you choose one, and you hopefully stick to it. And it's just a challenge of like being able to ride a bike, and stay upright. So.
Yeah, it's interesting because I did brakes. I did brakes, so it was probably part of the lead-through issue.
All right, so let's see. Summary, and this is for 2-4, so this is the basketball. This is Hoosiers. So target contains element of land, biological, man-made, and energy. Man-made is structural, having, I'm going to merge this. Sorry. The old bifocal thing. Man-made is structural, having function of blockade and safety maintenance. It's stiff, tall, rising. Its surface is hard and feels like concrete. Man-made makes me feel like leaning over to look down, makes me feel vertigo, as well as makes me feel concerned. There are people on top of the man-made looking down. This makes these people acting as tourists to feel a number of emotions, including feeling scared, concerned, jittery, and aversive. They also elicit fear of falling and a concern for safety. I've got thoughts. When standing on the man-made aspect, there's large rising structure behind me that expands in both directions. It overlooks a broader area. Rough, gritty texture that feels like a wall. You can see far away from the structure, opening up to a viewpoint to a broader area where the land is soft green, fleshy, wet, hairy, flat, and natural. Hairy land, I like that. Man-made is thus enveloped in a broader natural setting. The target also contains at least one rising, tubular, pillar-like man-made structure aspect. Pillar-like structure is old, weathered, important, and part of touristic and heritage aspect of the site intermixed with multiple rising man-made structures. The man-made are aesthetic, architectural, graceful structures to admire. They are a thing to enjoy, admire, and stare at for their historical, touristic, and traditional value. The target also feels to be an area that is not densely populated, but rather a place farther away from civilization. It is off the beaten path. It has aspects that give it an ominous ambience. It is as if the past is present in spirit, capturing the overlooking influence of past generations that have safeguarded the site. It is serious, past-related, connected to restoration and jubilation of the past. The target has also a hidden aspect of having to do with secrets of the past. But as far as what you just said there about the historic preservation of that community.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah, well, that right there nails the ambiance of that community, though. It really does. Burning house. What did you think?
Yeah. When I was drawing that, what I perceived as a kind of a tree-like thing, then I drew this bush shape on top. Then the thought I had, oh, that looks like a 9/11 building on fire or something. And
oh boy, you really had to fight that, didn't you?
You know, that's why burning house.
Soft, plushy wind sound, natural, calm, peaceful, and high up.
Yeah, that's just like kind of when that happened. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Good move command for you folks coming up the ranks. Move an appropriate distance backwards from the target and describe. Your neck feels elongated and serious in your AI. Move to the ideal position to produce an AI and describe. Flat, green, and round. Curved, hard. Concrete feel. I don't get that word right there. Round.
Solid.
Solid. There we go. You have great printing, by the way. Move appropriate distance away from the target and describe. AI break, looking down, concerned, reaching over.
I had this AI thing going on there, like the kind of feeling you get if you go to the edge of the cliff and you look down, and like you're above looking down. That's the thing I had there, but it was like disconnected from other things, so it was kind of confusing. Yeah. Spiller thing that's popping up as well, but didn't really evolve.
Okay.
So here I think I had some, like that bleed through issue, because I was feeling that there was this thing, behind me somewhere, and I didn't really. It was just shuffling. It was
but
back and forth.
When you look at the gym, and you are one of the people in the gym. Oh, that's the wrong one. You see how you've got lines there, and they're looking down. They really are. Let me show you.
But okay.
I know you said it felt like a cliff, but
yeah, because there's sometimes the building feels like a mountain, sometimes it doesn't. Okay, there we go. Well, they're reaching over, but they don't have much vertigo or much fear.
I understand what you're saying.
I hope not. Yeah. Okay.
It's a good point, though. It could be like people looking into a display case.
Okay.
Well, if they're, I understand
I think if they're
the bleachers, but sorry, you were a little bit broken up there.
I think this aspect is if you're at the bleachers and if you're looking down to the court, I guess.
Unless you were rubber banding, which
I was trying to kind of capture. I don't know.
You're experienced enough that I wouldn't jump to rubber banding with you at all. It's like a fringe consideration, but your amount of experience would lead me to think that probably isn't it. But
what do you mean by rubber banding in this context? Like
things being out of proportion.
Oh, it still happens.
Yeah, nobody's perfect, but you're a pretty experienced viewer.
You would I would like to believe that.
Well, let's just say this isn't your first rodeo.
Yeah. So, but that was definitely. I thought, what did you say that Lynn was in a hot air balloon or something?
Yeah.
Looking down?
Yes, he was.
That's for me kind of like, okay, maybe there was a little jumping, merging the target.
There might have been. All right, I just thought I would see
like
if
an
I
aspect
could find
of like
anything.
bleachers and
like
aspect of the bleachers together with the hot air balloon.
It is certainly a possibility. And by the way, Milan High School, and I have to be careful, that might not be the old one. Now that I think about it. Okay. More questions, more discussion. And again, thanks for sending in that session, because it gives these guys a lot of inspiration when people like you send in sessions too. So it's not only that you're practicing, but you let them see advanced tools and what they're actually working toward. And I appreciate that. I really do.
Thank you.
Because there's not everybody who will do that. It's like
so
don't need
the
to.
Other, so later in the session, I think that I got some other things that are like the sketch of the building that seem to be kind of like coming back. So I
was trying to Google this to see if I could help you out somehow with if there was anything high in the area or whatever. So
I mean, I was well, I don't know. There's always the next target.
Well, yeah. There always is. And see, I don't think that's the real high school. That's not not the old one.
So there was at least one aspect that I was like pretty, I find it interesting because maybe it was after I took a break, but then I felt like I was at this kind of vista point, and that there was this flat area in front of me, and I was like pretty kind of leaning in favor that I was top of a mountain somewhere there, but now you can see that it's probably a little bit of both.
Look at all that farmland and stuff. I'm just hoping to maybe give you guys some additional feedback, since my computer hasn't locked up yet. And I could have plugged in the exact address if I'd have looked it up. Good night, Lori. Thank you for coming if you haven't scooted out already. Actually, I don't know her. It's one of those things like the viewing. One more page. Going to be there. One more page. You guys can see how to research your targets. Okay, back to giving up on that, and back to you guys. Comments, questions? Ooh, at 8:54. Well, in that case, we are going to be back at it on, can't look on that. Let's see. Our next one is February 24th. So your coordinates for that are 160224. If you want to send in a session, it's really best if you send it to AIIS Practice RV. That would be preferable. That way, hopefully I get it and you don't have to hit me upside the head. I just got an instant message through Facebook. What is P6 tools? That P6 tools are scalar tools where you learn to measure times, distances, feet, height, relationships like between things, age, anything that you want to be able to measure, that's what a scalar tool is. And you can, there's dowsing and tapping of pages, and let's see what else. You can use 3D mediums like sand and Legos or wooden blocks or yarn or cloth or rocks or marbles. And then you just have like an area where, and you're not steered by your trainer at all. That stuff's just sitting there, and that way you can like look over and you just get some of it and you move it into, you know, into the area where you think at the target it would be. Clay is another modeling, another 3D medium, and people use clay quite a bit. So that's P6 tools. It's a whole variety of stuff. But you have to know what you're doing in the first 5 phases before you use P6 stuff. Then you can move all around and get all kinds of data in relationship to saying something is a certain color and a certain shape. You can actually say how big or how small or what the actual size and shape of it is. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up, folks, and I will see you in a month. So hopefully we won't have blizzards on the East Coast, and winter will be winter, but hopefully it'll be, you know, controllable. Livable? Maybe that's a better word. We can never control it. So anyway, somebody keyed up a mic.
105 degrees Fahrenheit down here in Rio de Janeiro city.
It's 105 today?
Yes.
Wow. Get a breeze with that?
Hardly so, but we're working within air conditioning, so you can handle. The problem is leaving the building for having a lunch.
Okay, well, I can't complain. It's very nice here in comparison to the East Coast, so we're doing okay. So with that, everybody, thank you for coming, and we will see you in a month, and happy viewing, and looking forward to seeing your sessions. Take care.
Thank you all.
Night.